I'm just really overwhelmed and anxious with moving here and all the politics that come along with moving here that I guess I wasn't really prepared for. It's very, very different from how I grew up. I grew up in a household that we didn't even talk about politics. I don't even know what my parents' politics necessarily are. It's a weird conversation in Canada, I guess.
Well, Canada has a culture of nice.
Yeah.
And America has a culture of drinking light beer on the lawn in lawn chairs and yelling at the neighbors.
I guess, yeah.
But you also know that if it goes down on this street, we're all banding together, right? So everything's open. But in general, I guess we're kind of in a cold civil war right now, but between each side. But on the whole, I know that my neighbors are different than me. And let me put it this way. My greatest friend on planet Earth is a guy named Todd. He's a banker. What does that mean? I co-host the Ramsey show where we teach people to get out of debt. That means my whole job is dedicated to making sure he doesn't have business. And his whole job is making sure that people think I'm dumb. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, and he's the executor of my will. He's my closest friend in the world. I love his kids and his family and vice versa. So it's a very American, like, we disagree on principles, but man, our values are ironclad. I trust that guy with my life, right? And so, yeah, it's just a very different cultural thing. So tell me how you're experiencing it here. Is it with family? Is it with friends? Is it, where's it coming?
It's coming from both sides. I'd say I'm kind of in the middle because I live in a rural part of Ohio. I live in Cincinnati. So as you can imagine, most people around me are Republican.
Uh-huh.
And then my parents and the rest of my family live in Canada, and they're not the biggest fan of the current president right now.
Uh-huh.
Because of tariffs and everything.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
Every conversation I have is one side of the aisle, the next side of the aisle, the one side of the aisle, the next side of the aisle. And it's a little bit much.
So let's take politics off the table because that's just a third rail conversation, especially when you're stuck in the middle, right?
Yeah.
If somebody, I don't know, like one of my coworkers is pathologically addicted to murder podcasts, her name may be Kelly, right? I'm just throwing that out there. What would it be like if somebody always wanted to talk about the last murder show on 60 Minutes they watched, and they wanted to tell you graphic details about all the murder and the death? Now, Kelly's like, oh my gosh, that'd be my best friend. But for you, how would you respond to that?
I guess I would do what I'm doing in this situation. It's just, I get quiet and I just listen.
Okay, so tell me about that. What does getting quiet get you?
I don't see any reason to be in the conversation. I don't really have an opinion when it comes to it. I don't really feel like I should in some ways.
Okay.
I'm back and forth. And I just want them to feel heard. But then I'm kind of sick of hearing it, I guess, is an easy way to put it.
So where did you learn? And I think you may have already alluded to it. Where did you learn that making them feel heard and okay was more important than how you felt in any given environment? All right, hey, we'll get back to the call, but first, even though we're running 1,000 miles an hour, there are some small choices that we can make to be present and steady for the people who count on us. And for me, that includes Organifi juices and gummies. I love them because they support my physical health along with mental clarity and emotional balance. They're easy to fit into your daily routine, and as someone who loves a good gummy candy, Organifi gives me the gummies with the goods and none of the junk. Go to Organifi.com/Delony and use code Delony to save 20%. Where did you learn that making them feel heard and okay was more important than how you felt in any given environment?
Not exactly sure. Maybe my childhood.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure.
If you grew up in a culture, and I don't want to blame Canada because America's got plenty of this too, especially in the South, where we just don't talk about it, and we're going to pretend it's not there, And then every few months or years, somebody just explodes because they can't hold it in any longer. Or they die of some illness, or they get some sort of chronic somatic, pain disorder because their body's trying to just hold all this stuff in. What if I told you the greatest gift you could give to yourself and the people that you're around, family members and friends, new friends in a new culture, in a new country, is boundaries? And I'll echo Dr. Becky here. Boundaries require nothing of somebody else. It's just you stating, here's what I'm going to do. And so here's an example. Tell me what this does inside your chest, if it makes you feel a little nervous or if it makes you be like, oh, that'd be so awesome. You're sitting in rural Ohio at a gas station, and somebody is just, well, a gas station's too easy. I don't know, if you have friends there in Ohio?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so they just start going in. Canada's the worst. I hate that place. They are fill in the blank, and we should tariff them or whatever. Right, Lauren? What if you looked and said, hey, I just don't talk politics. I can't affect the tariff policy, and so I don't get into it. But I really would be interested in how your kids are doing.
Okay.
Tell me what that feels like in your chest as I'm saying that. Imagine yourself going through that exercise.
That's not a good feeling. I'll put it that way. That's not so very out of my comfort zone.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's just because I don't know. I guess I'm a bit of a people pleaser.
Yep. Peacemaker, definitely.
Yeah. I don't like to make conflict. I like to keep everything at bay.
Yes.
But with this, it's constant. It's all the time. It's in my face.
That's
I don't
right.
even feel like I can go on my phone anymore.
That's right.
Because I don't even see a single thing about politics. Doesn't matter what side it's on.
I love it. Because see, here's what I want you to hear. You are not in your comfort zone on a minute-by-minute basis already. So the choice you have in front of you is not one thing I'm comfortable and one thing I'm not comfortable. You're choosing from two forms of discomfort.
Okay.
Either your mom and dad are going to electrify the right side of your body and your friends are going to electrify the left side of your body. That was pretty good. You see what I did there? Or you're going to choose to not be electrocuted, and you're going to have to stand there in the discomfort of, I spoke my mind finally. And not even I spoke my mind like I took a stand and I'm like, your politics are wrong. I think tariffs are ridiculous. Not that. It's simply, yeah, dude, I only talk about things that I can directly impact or that I can intercede on a minute-by-minute basis, like your kids, like our local schools, like our family, like my husband, my friends. I can impact that. I just don't get into the other mess.
Okay.
Because what I'm trying to get you to see is you are radically uncomfortable right now already.
Yes.
And you can't talk to your friends. You can't talk to your friends. You can't talk to your family. And if we have to choose between one discomfort or another, let's choose the discomfort that is short term that will get us to what we want. And in your case, you want peace.
Yes.
Okay.
Even in my house, my husband talks about it all the time. It doesn't stop.
So let's practice with him. And do you want me to give you a tip that my wife did to me? Because I was the same way.
Sure.
I politicized everything. Everything.
Yeah.
And my wife gave me the gift of saying, I can't bear the weight when you come home and dump all of your philosophical stuff, all the articles you've read, all the conversations, all your pontificating about the end of the world. I can't carry that. And so if you need to talk about that, I'm not a good person for you. But I am interested in talking about things that we can do together, that our family can be involved with, that helps us lean towards the world that we want.
Okay.
So I can't come home. I can, it's my house and my wife's house, and she wouldn't say, shut up. But I don't come home talking about all the research about loneliness and how we're all dying, and it's not helpful. I can come home and say, hey, I really want us to be known as a lighthouse of hospitality. Everybody's welcome at our house. Everybody. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you love. I don't care anything. You're always welcome at my house. Can we invite somebody over once a week? And she's like, done. How about twice? You get what I'm saying? You see the difference there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so practice with me real quick. I'll be your husband, okay?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just making something up. I don't want someone to clip it. They're going to clip what I'm about to say, and then they're going to put it out on the internets. I think that American politics are the best thing ever, and I think Canadian politics are the worst, and blah, 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 blah. And we're sitting down for dinner. You now go.
See, this is where I struggle. I feel like freezing and just not saying anything.
Okay, do me a favor. Exhale. And I want you to take your thumb and your forefinger, or your thumb and your middle finger, whichever one's more comfortable for your hand. And I want you just to squeeze them together. And all we're doing is recognizing, I feel a thing, and I'm on it.
Okay.
And let's go one step further. I'll even say it's unfair for your husband who doesn't know how uncomfortable he's making you. Or he actually knows you're uncomfortable. He doesn't know why. And maybe in his weird way, he's trying to connect with you.
Okay.
And so a gift you can give him is, hey, this actually doesn't connect us together. This pushes me away. I can't hold it all. And so I intentionally don't watch the news. I intentionally don't scroll social media. I intentionally don't do these things so that I can show up for my neighbors, so I can show up for my friends. I can actually affect something locally, which is all I can do right now. There's not a single thing I can do about executive orders until the next election, period.
Exactly. That's my mindset with
That's it. I can't do anything about it. I can call my congressman, right? I can do that. I don't even think you're allowed to call our congressman, are you? I guess you can. They don't.
I probably could, but I don't think it would matter.
I mean, it does if enough people call. It for sure does, but usually that's pretty coordinated efforts, right? And you can go thumbs down everything on social media. That doesn't do anything. It just makes you mad.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's just opting out and saying, I'm going to control what I can control. I'm going to become the person I want to see in the world, period.
Okay.
So, I think politics are blah, blah, blah. What do you think, Lauren?
I don't really want to talk about politics.
And? Okay, so you drew the boundary and you drew the disconnection. You highlighted the disconnection. Now, one more statement is, how are we going to connect?
Okay. Let's talk about what we're going to do this summer or something along those lines, I guess.
So I would say, I am interested. Always use I statements.
Okay.
I get overwhelmed by all the politic talk. I am super interested in planning what you and I are going to do this summer. Could we talk about that? And maybe if you're, and again, I don't know your husband, if he is always politicking, it may be that let's don't do that little exercise we practiced first. Let's sit down and you tell him, hey, since I've been here, I'm overwhelmed and I can't hold it all. And I need our house to be politics free. I need our home to be a safe place where I can drop my shoulders. And the world is chaotic. My home is still chaotic. I mean, my childhood home in another country is chaotic. Here is chaotic. And especially in the U.S., chaos sells. It's intentional. All the media companies are publicly traded. The big three or the big four, they're publicly traded. That means they have a vested interest in not giving you truth, but in selling you ads. That's it. Their job is to make a profit. And how do you make a profit? You tell somebody, the end of the world is coming, and I have a solution. I have your escape pod. That's it. And so telling your husband, I need our place to be a place of safety, not free of conflict and not free of discussion. Man, me and my wife argue and disagree on stuff all the time. But it's not yelling matches. It's her saying, I think that's completely off. Or she says something, I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. And we go back and forth. And I may send her an article and she'll get halfway through it and say, I just disagree with the premise of this. But then she honors me by saying, and here's why. And then I get a choice of to opt in or opt out, but I know we're always on the same team. So sitting down and saying, I can't do politics with you anymore. I am interested in talking with you. I'm till death do us part interested in talking with you about things that we can build together to create the world in our tiny little sphere that we want to see. We're going to learn how to love local and be a part of our rural community here in Ohio, and we're going to impact change there. With who cares how people vote? We're going to impact change because we're going to become those people. And start there. And if he says, forget you, then you'll have a bigger problem in your marriage. But it sounds like he would honor you and say, you're exactly right. I'm sorry. I'm getting worked up on this end too. Seek connection there. Thank you so much for the call, Lauren. By the way, Lauren, whether you're from Canada, just moving to the States, it's probably more acute. But this conversation is happening in millions of homes across the country. I'm really grateful that you reached out and had the conversation with me, because I think it's going to give a lot of peace to a lot of people.